Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Sonrisa Dance Podcast. And again, I have to also remind myself to explain that Sonrisa stands for smiling. I don't know how many of you don't know Spanish, and I know
Me!
I need that explanation, but yes. I'm Nick, and I have a wonderful guest with me today, and somebody who actually, one half of the two instructors that really taught me the most in my dance experience. And we'll get a little bit more into why that is and how that can really help everyone else. But yeah, first of all, just would you like to introduce yourself and give a brief introduction of what you do in our dance community?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Jenny Me. And yeah, I've known Nick for years. And I have been in the salsa community for going on 12, 13 years now. And right now, my husband, Peter Rice and I, we go and we're not so much in the social scene and those classes anymore, but we do still do a lot of work through the colleges, classes, workshops. We are the official coaches for the CSULB Salsa Club. Not to be confused with salsa team. Those are two different things, yes. Okay. But yeah, we're still advocates for teaching really strong basics and growing that college culture.
Yeah, because I feel like for the current community, even especially once you get out of the college community, because that's its own kind of separate culture. But a lot of the people come in, most of them are learning early on from the college dance scene and transitioning over. And so I was just curious to because obviously I always bring up the issue of people not really learning properly in our dance community and the things that are missing. What's something that you really focus on when you're thinking about these people who are getting introduced into our dancing, who are new and have fresh eyes, and what maybe they're not even aware they need to be prepared to learn because nobody's going to teach them.
Yeah, that's very deep. So what Peter and I really focus on is, let's think about this first. You go to college, and you want to do something social, you want to go out and learn something, and be in a social setting, and salsa dancing comes up, right? You're like, ooh, yeah, Latin dance, I'm going to be so sexy after this. And you go into this thing that you don't know what it's about, and so it's all about SCX at the beginning, right? Yeah. Let's be real. Yeah. You go to learn how to dance to go pick someone up or be sexy to get picked up or something like that.
Yeah, it's a very big socializing thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. But that's how everyone starts. Yeah. So here Peter and I are at the very beginnings of these kids wanting to be sexy or learn how to make someone sexy, right? Yeah. So what we try to do a lot is really focus on those core basics, physicality, weight transfer, at the actual art, and I will call it an art, of leading and following. So when they go out and they're ready to flap their cute little salsa wings out into the community, they're ready and they're capable and they're able to be integrated into the community without getting hurt or hurting somebody else.
Yeah, because
that's the goal.
Yeah, because I know that's the difficult thing. Because if they're lucky enough to get a very structured way of very consistently growing in their dance technique and skills. Because I feel like once you fall off this safe setting of the club, right. I feel like it's very hard to find people that actually properly teach you in that community, the things that matter. Because there's a myriad of people who will teach you, a certain move or a certain pattern, but no one really takes the time to explain where your weight really is and all this other stuff. How do you actually lead properly? Are you paying attention to where your toes are pointing, your chest is pointing, all your hips are pointing, and all that stuff. But
absolutely, it's when you go out into the world and you start taking club classes. Which is that class that's before the actual dancing starts. Ooh, I need to get comfortable for this one. Okay. Switching the pose. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right, no, I'm good. All right, here we go. Need to get comfortable. They're teaching choreography. That's all they have time for. We teach club classes too, and we go out still, and we're brought out to do classes in clubs or venues, and it's loud, it's noisy, people are there to drink, people are there to socialize, they're there to pick people up. And so the concentration isn't there. So in the club classes, we teach it very differently, and we have to make it about fun, and we have to make it flashy, because that's what's going to catch everyone's eye, because when you're out there dancing, you want to be seen. And especially in this world that we live in now, where everything is about being an exhibitionist and showing off, right?
Yeah, I know we were talking a little bit about this beforehand, that's one of the big things that sucks about the change in like the dynamic of the dance community, because obviously there was a very big boom, like obviously everyone calls it like the heyday, or the great years of like dancing, of when, you know, people were really out there to dance and, you know, do a lot of there was a lot more structure to the learning and stuff like that. There were rules that were in place about what you learned, but nowadays, especially with like social media and stuff, it's taken a bit of a nosedive, more because everyone's focused more on the look of something versus how well you can actually perform it.
Exactly. It's unfortunately, we've gotten to a place where the community is now students of the once used to be the heyday of the professionals. It's their students, and some have taken it and really honed it, and they are teaching. And there are some that were students, they're like, ooh, I'm really good at this, I'm gonna go teach, but I might get in trouble, but that's okay. There are those who are amazing teachers that are good at what they do. They might not be amazing dancers, and that's true. I will attest to that. We'll talk about my history in a second. But there are those that are amazing teachers, and there are those that are amazing dancers.
Yes.
And sometimes you can be the most amazing dancer, but you're not able to verbalize the mechanics of the physicality to someone else.
Yeah.
It makes sense to you, you got it in your body, you're able to do it, but sometimes it's hard to get it out. So right now where we're at is we're in this era of the students teaching students.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound extremist, but it's almost like the blind leading the blind, because what these new people coming into the community are learning, it's no longer the technicality. It's no longer the real true core, the basics. We're stepping away from the culture of it. And we're all about the flash. And LA already has such a bad reputation for being flashy and crazy and bleh, right?
And just our whole culture.
And here we are, we're just adding to that fuel, because now we're creating these fusions, which I am all about.
Yeah.
I'm all about fusion. I'm all about doing things. I am a purist at heart of, if I'm going to dance this thing, I will dance that thing. Yeah. But if you are asking me to dance a fusion thing, I will dance a fusion thing with you. Yeah. But it just communication is great. Yeah. That's a whole other subject, which we'll get to.
So many things to get to.
But what's happening now is I, being a very strong dancer, don't like social dancing anymore. I really dislike going out because, one, I've been out of the scene for a while, and no one knows who I am, so they don't think I know how to dance, because still judgy. It's still a judgy community, let's be real.
It definitely is.
And then two, they haven't learned true technique. They haven't learned how to lead some of these fusion-esque moves. And I get hurt every single time. Yeah. And that, unfortunately, is where we're coming to, I'm hoping. Yeah. And I have high hopes that our new community, our newer bodies that are going out, will take the time to learn more. Yeah. So that they can stop hurting people, because you should be able to dance the entire night. Yeah. Other than being in 3-inch heels and your feet hurting, which, trust me, if you've asked me to dance, I'm like, hey, my feet hurt, I'm being honest. It's a lot. Yeah, that's the only reason. But even back in the day, you would dance all night long, and they would be fun, crazy, 37,000 turns and all this stuff. And yes, there was body manipulation, not to the extreme that it is now, but you can dance the entire night. Now I do like one dance with maybe a newbie, which I'm about, but then I get hurt, and then I have to sit out 3 or 4 because my shoulder's been ripped out, and I need to mend up so that I can go have another dance, and that sucks.
Yeah, I know that's like one thing that we were definitely talking about, that not enough people, there's not enough in, either one, there's not enough options, or two, there's not enough incentivizing or announcement of people, like, you should be taking more classes, like, you, well, not even just classes, but more like I forget what's the wording for it. Just like workshops or like 6-week courses or the things
yeah,
where you can
totally.
learn consistently or even just maybe the loss of people who are in the community who just can't translate that very well
Right.
because they didn't grow up in that culture. And I know that's something that you have more of a background on because
Yeah.
you grew many years. You've been doing more structure and ballroom and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, so I have been dancing. I thought about this in the car. This is really scary. Okay, I almost cried to myself in my car,
No.
like ugly crying. I have been dancing for over 35 years now.
Oh wow.
That's a long time, children. Okay, this might not look that old, but it is. And so I've been dancing for over 35 years, and I have my background in classical dance. My first passion is ballet.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk? Back when I was 90 pounds, I was still too big to be ballerina, so go figure that one out. That's a whole different culture,
Oh, yeah.
whole different topic. But so I have been dancing ballet since I was young. And ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, modern, lyrical. So I have this understanding of my body and physicality that a lot of dancers that started with social dancing might not have.
Yeah.
Am I saying that you're wrong? No, not
No.
at all. I'm saying that they're very different.
Yeah.
But being an independent dancer where you have to dance within your own strength
Yeah.
to lift yourself up, literally
Yeah.
sometimes, it gives you a different viewpoint on your body
Yeah.
and the mechanics of it. So that when I did come to dabbled in ballroom, I should have gotten into it long ago, really. Like, I could have rocked that stuff out, seriously. But I dabbled, gave it a try, and then right when I was about to start doing ballroom in Chicago, I'm from Chicago, y'all. You might hear that in my voice sometimes. Moved to California and fell in love with Latin dance. So from there, that's where I started training and taking classes. And now here's the difference. The difference. I have been taking various classes in multiple styles of dance for my entire life. So by the time I was in my late 20s coming here to California, I understood the ability for myself, having over 20 years of dance technique and training and hard training, like being hit with canes and stuff, like that kind of training, to be able to go out and interpret classes and physicality and other dancers to my own body because I understood the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's different now when you're just starting out watching the YouTube videos, watching Instagram, and of course it's all about the visual of it, right? And here we are in this social media era. Back in the day, you couldn't use your pager to videotape
flip phones and pagers and things that you couldn't share.
I had a pager, like a pager, and pagers are useless, literally. You can't do anything. You sit there and you wait for someone to do something to you, right?
Yeah, you're like, oh, I got a
nothing.
message.
You can't do anything.
Back.
Anyway, back in those days, but now we're in social media time, and everyone's feeling that they can, as a beginner, I'm not saying intermediate or advanced dancers, I'm saying fresh, green, haven't taken 2 steps, or maybe have taken 1 beginner class, right? Mm-hmm. They're going out and watching these videos. They're watching YouTube. They're watching all these things, and we're hyper sexualizing these crazy moves, which can be super dangerous if you do not understand physicality, if you do not understand leading, if you do not understand following, and so here we are. This big, huge full circle. But yeah, it's scary. But having talking about going out and trying things, you have to go out and be well-rounded.
Yes.
The more classes you can take, and I'm talking about going out and be crazy. Go sign up for hip-hop class. Go sign up for an adult. Okay, at 15, you're an adult. 16, you're an adult, okay? Go sign up for an adult ballet class. Go sign up for a samba class. Go sign up for something very different, because when you take classes, I don't care what kind of class. If you could take salsa classes, that'd be great. That sounded really mean. I didn't mean it like mean, but I mean, but if you can take the classes where they really break down your body from the top of your head all the way down to your pinky toe and understand the muscle and the placement, that will only make you a stronger dancer.
Yeah.
Right?
And I do agree with that. Like, I feel like there's especially the more and more dance styles that I've been learning. There's because some other dance styles focus on certain other things like
Right.
certain like aside from obviously every dance incorporates everything, but sometimes when you're taking certain classes you can't do a certain movement in a dance without a specific technique, and that might improve the one you're trying to focus on. And I definitely have seen that in myself. But yeah, so when you're teaching like that to the new communities, like those are the things you're trying to teach them, and especially I know you have a special being the follow, because I feel like we have an overabundance of mostly classes that are predominantly taught by the leader, the guy, and that stinks because even he's teaching and explaining the women's part, which is something that probably he has little to no experience on actually doing.
Right. Hey girls. Hey ladies. Hey women out there in the universe. Salsa has always been we live in a very different age now, but let's get down to the nitty gritty. It's been a very masculine, over sexualized dance style.
Yeah.
And to this day, I know for a fact that there are women going out dancing and feel uncomfortable and don't have this inner strength, or they don't know that it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate whenever I teach college classes, especially. I try to teach them at the beginning, like if they don't like something, if they feel like it's too close, if they feel like it hurts, we're unfortunately creating this dance culture where you smile and get through it because someone's videotaping you and you have to look good.
Yeah.
But we're unfortunately hurting ourselves physically, and we're hurting our culture because we're not teaching them properly.
Yeah.
So as a female, as a pretty vocal follow in my classes, Peter and I have always been super respectful of each other's strengths.
Yeah.
Peter's a fantastic, lovely, light as a butterfly follower, and I can lead, right?
That's him.
He's light. He's very light and dainty, and he's a very good follower because he understands it. And I can lead.
Yeah.
Do I lead all the time? No. That's my choice, though,
Yeah.
as my own type of feminist, which we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Is my choice. I understand the mechanics of it. I can do it. I know all the moves. They're in there. But my choice as myself, as a female, I'm choosing to be a follower. So in my classes, we understand each other's sides, but we also respect each other's voice so that, and it's kind of nice because you never have this. Or it's very rare.
Yeah.
It's very rare to go into a class and the one person is focusing on the leader and the other person is focusing on focusing, not just like, you go here and you go there.
Yeah.
But really break down the mechanics of I am pressing it back through my right hip to extend and move myself forward from the buttocks forward through the left foot. Like that's stuff that we don't get.
We don't get it. And I think you and Peter are one of the few people I ever see share that space like fairly equally. Well, respective to the movements and what needs to be explained.
And I think as a student, when you're learning leading and following, it's nice to have one person to listen to.
Yeah.
Because there's voices going, we're both dancing at the same time. Yeah. So when it's one voice for two people trying to talk and count and hand up, right, ladies, right turn, da-da-da, all at the same time, it can be very confusing. So when Peter and I teach it, he's calling out the leader stuff, I'm calling out the follower stuff, so each side has its own person and focal point.
Yeah, there's never any of that stuff that gets muddled or gets,
Now, am I going to say that, we say this in class, women learn faster than men?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not women. Sorry for everyone out there. It's not about women and men. It's about the follower side is a lot easier to learn than the leader side.
It's more reactive than
exactly.
Like there is planning, obviously, but it's not as much planning. Like you have, there's a lot of structure and like, okay, what?
It's because you're being told what to do.
Yeah.
If you're being a good follower. Yeah. There's the difference. Hence why I called it an art form.
Yeah.
Because there is an art form to leading because you have to be so ahead of the time. Not like the time like era. Like the time as in the timing, because you have to be, it's like chess.
Yes.
You have to be 2, 3 moves ahead of yourself so that you're preparing, you're giving your follower the targets, you're giving them the right pull, you're giving them the right push. Where followers, we are a microsecond behind our leaders because we're waiting for that that lead. We're waiting for
the
for the
cue,
sign,
the
cue,
flag,
right?
like go,
So
go.
we have it. I always make fun of class that we do all the work,
Yeah.
but it's half true. We do all the turning. Okay,
Yeah.
we're the ones that are dizzy.
Yeah.
But leaders have to be so far in advance. But as a follower, we have to take a moment. We have to take a beat, and we are led through it.
Yeah.
So learning our side of it can be easier if our leaders are awesome.
Yeah.
That's the other side of the coin.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of our leaders that aren't. Well, one and I was having the talk with the last episode that not enough of our leaders are focused. They're so focused on getting the move and not leading it properly that sometimes they forget that it's not really a lead. It's more like a guide. It's more of a suggestion almost. Like, you know,
right.
you're never, like, you should be prepared to bail the move if it's not safe, if it's not whatever.
I think that idea of a suggestion is so great because I've always said from day one, dancing, social dances like this is a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? It's conversation. I change the kind of follow that I am going to do, like I would change the tone, I would change my words in a conversation, like I'm being really good and I haven't dropped an F-bomb so far. Super proud of myself. This is good.
This is good.
But it's the same
totally
thing. You change, as a leader, you need to understand that every follower is different, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Physicality, how big their steps are, if they're a beginner, if they're intermediate, if they're advanced, if they're wiggly.
Yeah.
We got a lot of wiggly ones out there because we all think that this is sexy and we gotta wiggle.
Yeah.
Whole separate conversation.
So I would say that's like the theme.
It's another conversation.
I feel like that's just gonna be the title of this. Just so many conversations.
Separate conversation, y'all. It's so true.
It's so true.
But we need to understand that we need to change how we speak to one another as we're having that conversation on the dance floor, because it is. The leader is suggesting a move, and the follower is 99.9% of the time going to follow it, or I like to just throw them off, and I'm like, well, you were like a second late, so I'm just going to go over here, and maybe I'll turn the other way to keep you on your toes, because now I'm like, hey, pay attention. Yeah. You can't have it easy, because I am definitely not having it easy.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. And so that, like, there's a lot of, and you can see it in the dance community sometimes. You'll see people dancing, and you'll see when they're like, there'll be like a freak out moment in each of them, like, oh no, that's not what meant to happen. When it's because they're not communicating very well. And
you can tell when people are communicating and jiving, because even if they're not doing crazy stuff, the feel of it, the look of it is so smooth and it's seamless, and that's what's cool. That's what I miss about social dancing now. We're missing out on... sounds really gross. Sorry, little ones, if you're listening. It should be a masturbation dance. This should feel good. Yeah. It shouldn't be about voyeurism. This isn't about showing off. It should feel good here. Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about having this moment, 3 to 12 minutes, depending on the song.
Salsa.
Yeah.
Live bands.
Live bands. I love live music.
I mean,
I'm all
great.
about it, but dang, I will not dance until like the bridge, because I know I'm gonna get tired.
Like that's when we start asking for a new dance. Right. Or you're like, oh, thank you for the dance. Go get the next one.
Another subject. But yeah, I feel like that's missing.
No, and that's fair. Like It sucks because that is very true. A lot of times I'll go out dancing, and the rare occasion that I'll get a dance that feels exactly that.
And you remember those dances, right?
I hold those so dear.
Oh
yeah. There's literally 2 that came to mind right now that said that I'm just like, everything came out perfectly. I didn't fight anything. The styling, when we broke off and started to just whatever do it, and just came back at the right. Oh,
you're listening to the music. You're paying attention to each other.
Yeah.
So, I call it a dance crush, because in our community, we all share each other. Yeah. It's a big dance floor orgy. Yeah. With our clothes on and not having any sex. Sounds less fun now.
I don't know,
but
fun. It's with your eyes.
Nicholas! Not even But I call it a dance crush because sometimes you just have that dance, and will I say that it's every time? No, because every day is a little different. I could be off, they could be off.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just end up jamming to a dance with a particular person that might not be your person, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
But sometimes you end up with a dance crush because you just physically
Just
understood the music and you jammed out and it was fun, and I'm all about that.
Yeah, and it's just that the communication worked very well with the person. Like again, because everyone communicates differently, and so maybe that person just stands out more because the way they communicate through their body language is exactly how you like.
And if you can adjust, and if you're a really good leader, you can adjust to each follower, so that you can give them that experience every time, which makes you a badass leader.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny, like, hitting that point. Like, I know that's one thing that I definitely do see a problem whenever I just watch the community, because I like to sometimes take breaks and just stare at people.
I have really bad night vision, and I know everyone thinks I'm rude, and I'm gonna just interject here for a second, but I really have, I need more I need glasses, like hard. I have my glasses, and I don't wear them very often, because
I was gonna say, I don't typically.
I look super Asian.
Oh wait, actually no. I've seen you in glasses.
Right? I don't look at myself.
Very rare, even for someone like me.
I have really bad night vision, and I can't see like 10 feet out. So when people are waving to me across the way in a dark club with lights flashing, I will see movement. I'm like, hey, and I'm really sorry to anyone that I've done that to. But once you get, and if anyone notices, once you get closer, I'm like, oh hey, how's it going? Because I can't see. Anyway,
so you
sorry,
can't do what I do. Yeah, you can't do what I do. But yeah, so when I'm staring out in the dance floor, I notice like. It's like hitting that point of like being able to communicate differently and adjust your dancing to your partner. There's so many oftentimes I like stare at the same people over and over again because the community, like we all travel together. The same people. But yeah, there's some people that I see dancing with each other and I know they don't have styles that match each other and neither one of them decides to like adjust for the other. Especially, it's more the lead. Yeah, and you can definitely see the fight on the floor. You can see it, and I feel it's probably a little more responsibility on the guy because he's the one or the lead.
No. Let's take away this whole like lead follow thing for a moment because
that one.
Because I'm all about equality and women having a say because a majority of our community is female followers. We have to adjust too. It's not just on leaders. Now here's my big spiel that I give every class. If we as followers want to aid in creating a community of amazing leaders, we have to take a step back and get off our high horses and allow our new leaders to learn how to be leaders. This whole idea of I'm going to back lead you through it because I need to look good and you're making me look a fool because we're not on time right now. That whole concept needs to go out the window. We have just as much responsibility in the dance that we have to adjust to our leader as much as the leader has to adjust to us. Because that's what makes it harmonious. That's what makes it work. Is that we're ending up creating this culture of really bad leaders. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. I'm going to get in trouble for saying it. But we are creating a culture of really bad leaders because we want to put on the show. We want to look our best. We want to be as sexy as possible. But then they're not truly learning how to lead because we're not, as the followers, we're not giving them a chance to. I'm a big advocate in class, especially in class. Just because we're counting doesn't mean that you have to always be on count with us. Is the goal to be on count? Yes. We want to get there. But if we've given you a new move that is brand new to you and you're like, oh my gosh, I have 10 thumbs. I didn't know that could exist. I would rather you take the time and have the follower let them figure out, ooh, if I pull here, this is the reaction. If I push here, if I do this, this hurts. If we give them the moment to figure it out in class, to lead it properly, then we would have a great community of amazing leaders.
That's true. It is a two-way street. It is a communication. So yeah, you're right. And I know I definitely do. Obviously, I've sat through all your multiple classes for you and Peter, and I know you've always tell the lady once you start like making the run for the for practicing a movement, you will tell the ladies, and I've heard it. You're like, don't move until he tells you to move.
Right. Think about shopping. Think about groceries. Think about homework. Think about anything else. But let them figure it out, because they're having to do a lot of things, and I give leaders a really hard time about this, but they do have a lot going on. They have to be mentally so ahead of it, and they have to be sensitive, and they have to be, but they also have to be like, they have to move with conviction. So how do you blend that together?
Do that, same type of timings,
exactly.
Add your styling into all this, and
so don't start doing styling if you don't know how to move your follower. How about that? Followers, don't add in all the sexy styling if you don't understand your own balance, your own weight, and have the capabilities of turning yourself. I'm sorry, but that's where a lot of our injuries and people falling almost every night. I see someone fall, and it's definitely one of the two of them. People there dancing. That happens, and it's because we're trying so hard to get into that show-offy place without understanding our own selves or each other.
Yeah, that's very true. And I'm just like, I don't know. And I feel like I liked being able to grow through the college community, because I feel like it's so much harder for everybody out in the community currently. And I feel like we were talking about it, like, what can you do? Because, like, these like 6-week long courses don't really exist very much anymore.
Salsa boot camp.
Yeah, the boot camp.
All those things. They don't exist.
And so, if there's nothing else that we could advocate, is just take more privates. Find the instructors that you can see, who you can that are explain things very well. If you've taken a class with anybody and you can tell that they can express and translate to you personally a movement or a pattern or whatever you're trying to grow in dance, pay them. Yeah, I know it's a little expensive, but pay for the privates. They're actually worth the money.
Privates are expensive because we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Doctors aren't cheap.
Yeah.
Right? How much money do they invest in themselves to be where they are? It's the same idea, and I don't know if anyone else brought this up, probably, but the salsa community is cheap.
Yeah.
Promoters, DJs, I'm looking out for you guys. My husband's a DJ. He didn't pay me to say this. But it's true. We are a cheap community. We go out and we dance in some of the seediest places.
That's true.
Like, gross.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want to be there when the lights are on, because we really enjoy being in these smelly, seedy, dark places.
Yeah.
Where there's like floorboards missing, or we're on concrete, or
That's true.
Oh heck, I love me some 3rd Street Promenade, but dancing on cobblestones on a tilt. And then I'm being led into triple, quadruple traveling turns as I'm going downhill. There's a video somewhere of me doing that. I was like going downhill, and I'm like,
oh no, downhill.
But we as a group, as a community, we really do like these kind of like cheaper places, because cheap undercut community. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and I talked a little bit about it with Lisa Aragon, that back in the community it was very common, like, things were more expensive.
Oh yeah, we would pay $20.
Yeah.
$15 to go, because it included your class, it included the night. There's places that still charge, but they have a live band. Like, there's reasons for the pricing of it.
Yeah.
But now the quality, unfortunately, has gone so far down because everyone decided to undercut each other.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Oh, I can do it for this much money, and then someone else comes along and is like, oh, well, I can do it for this much. And the next person comes along and I can do this. And now we're almost at a place where people are like, oh, I'll do it for free, just to have that social media vision, just to be.
Yeah.
And
especially if they're not doing it for a living, like they can just get it. Like,
I don't care. I'm just they have a full-time job,
fun,
and unfortunately, it's undercutting all the professionals that have spent the time and the hours and the money.
Yeah,
it's a huge investment. It's a huge investment.
Yeah.
But that's back to it. That's why private lessons are expensive. But it's different spending $5 to go into a club class. Where you're not going to get any attention, you're going to learn the move, you're going to videotape it, you'll take it home, and you'll learn it the best you can. But spending 45 minutes to an hour one-on-one with someone that can literally break down your body to help you understand what's going on is priceless.
Yeah.
that's what's going to make you a better dancer, is by understanding your body and having someone tell that to you. That's why one of those, like the classes, when they're smaller classes, it's better.
Yeah.
Because if there's like 6 couples and the teacher can go to each and every single individual and fix and tune whatever is going on, then that's worth the money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if we're not willing to invest into bettering ourselves, our community is going to keep going down the drain.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep hurting ourselves. We're, like I said before, we're at a place where we have a lot of students teaching students, and don't teach lifts and tricks if you don't know how to do them, right? Don't teach some of these body manipulations if you don't truly understand the physicality and mechanics of moving someone else's body. You're gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah.
We're not gonna last. Like, I'm an oldie and I'm somehow still doing this. It's because I've avoided being hurt.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky to have leaders that understand movement and that are sensitive to that. Yeah. But when we're being forced into stuff because that's what the teacher told us to do, that's where we're getting into, is a place where we're going to do more harm than good.
Yeah, there needs to be more awareness of even just paying attention. Again, it's just the communicating aspect. I know better than to lead you into head turns and things like that, because I know that.
I hate those. Yeah, I have a really bad back and neck, and Peter advises to ask before you dance, like, hey, are you okay doing body rolls, anything? And I think communication is key there, because like people like me, I can dance and I'll follow pretty much anything. Yeah. But there's things that do hurt and I won't do it, but then I look like the jerk because I'm not going to do a move because you're the leader and you're telling me to. Again, women's followers advocacy here. Yeah. And I'm like, no, that's really uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. Yeah. I don't like doing dips. I don't like, because I also don't trust, this sounds really bad, I don't trust that they know how to support my body the best without being dropped. So I personally, it's a personal choice. Yeah. If you know them, dip all you want. Do everything you want because you understand each other. Yeah. But when you're dancing with a stranger, you need to go into it kind of slowly with a kid glove a little bit because you don't know them. Yeah. Right?
I'm always very timid when it's the first time I grab a dance with somebody who's new, because I'm just I'll avoid dips. I'll do more like that. If I'm gonna prep into a dip thing, it's
the
like that
city one, little curtsy
one. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do stuff like that. I'll leave more room just for more comfort until I understand where they're comfortable allowing me.
And I think that touches on a point too, is leaving room. We talked about it a little bit, but I feel like there's this idea that salsa dancing and bachata has to be all so sexy and oh my gosh, we have to be all up on each other, to be doing the dance, and you don't at all. You don't. That's a choice. Guys and girls, if you're into it,
that's perfectly fine to enjoy it.
I'm about that. But
if you're aware that one of the people doesn't want to do it, then you shouldn't do it.
But are followers feeling like they can say no, and I do not believe that.
I don't believe that's true.
Do.
And that's
And that's hard.
That's a hard thing to because everyone feels guilty of saying no for various reasons, whether they feel like they can't, or they don't want to look up, come off as a bitch or whatever. I don't like dancing. That whole issue of you don't want to create some kind of negative.
You don't want to create a scene or be seen as negative, like you're going to be the girl that says no to everything. But I will be the first one to say that when I first started, for sure, I was put into a lot of situations that made me really uncomfortable. Yeah. But I did it because that was the community, that was the culture, that was what we were. It's what we were expected to do, right? Oh well, this is the expectation. Yeah. I to this day remember the very first dance I had in California.
Oh wow, very first one.
Very first dance. I went to Tapas. Oh yeah, I'm going there. Back in the day, those who know. Tapas was so janky. Talking about janky places. Over in the corner by the DJ booth, they had those metal joiners on the ballroom floor, and they were really, really old and gross. Yeah. And one day I was doing some turns because that was like the spot to be, y'all. Okay, there were stairs there. The door was there. You're right by the bar. It's like the place to be seen. Y'all know. But the little metal part was lifted up from being just so old, and I was dancing there, and I sliced the tip of my big toe off there. Yeah. Oh. And I was dancing, I'm like, wow, something kind of hurt. But I'm a ballet dancer that has been doing points since I was 9, so I didn't really think about it. Yeah. And when I was done with the dance, there was like little circles of blood from where the tip of my toe was bleeding out. And back in the day, I threw on like 10 Band-Aids and was like, let's keep going. That's called hardcore. But anyway, back in those tapas days. Yeah. What was I saying? I totally forgot.
Shoot, I'm trying to back
Wait,
up.
We were talking about...
like the space.
Oh, no, my first dance. At tapas. Yeah. Sorry, that was way off subject. But my very first dance, I was wearing an orange dress, and it was at tapas, and it was merengue night. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. And I remember the guy, and the funny thing is, he's still out in the scene, and I see him every time, and I'm like, oh, that's him. But it was the most awkward, uncomfortable dance I've ever had. Because, here I am, new from Chicago, which has a little bit of a different mentality than California, LA,
SoCal.
Oh my God. And I was put into positions, literally, that my mother would have been very ashamed of. And it was very uncomfortable. And, well, you know what? Come to think of it, I think it was recently I did the same thing. And that's shame on me. Shame on me for not saying something. But here we are. We're so instilled as followers. And I'm gonna say it, I'm old as women, that it's so ingrained in us to be like, well, that's how it is. Yeah. And that I didn't do justice for my ladies out there. I didn't do justice by saying no in the moment because I wanted to appease this young kid I was dancing with. So I didn't do what I stand by. So shame on me for that.
Yeah, but it is hard.
But it's so in me to just do it and suck it up and be like, oh, it's only 3 minutes. I'm going to just bear through it. When I could have just said, hey, yo, dude, like, not okay. Yeah. Or, I don't know how we didn't feel this because it's really big. Thanks, babe. But it's, shame on me for not standing up to my own advocacy because here I am continuing this bad behavior, which is really bad. But yes, that was my first dance with the tapas, and it was interesting. Yeah. I obviously still remember it. Yeah. But that's what started this whole thing about me talking to college students about saying, no, if you're in an uncomfortable position where your arm is held back behind your body and he wants you to do the sexy dolphin, that one? Yeah. And you are, like, really uncomfortable, you have every right to be like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Next move. Or go back into your basic. You don't have to say anything. Yeah. I would say something because I'm really loud, obviously. But you can absolutely stop what you're doing, like show him that you're uncomfortable, and then continue with your basic. Or if it gets to the point where he does it again, be like, hey, yo, like, I really can't do that move. It really hurts. Yeah. No, I've had a good lead would take that into account and like not do that anymore. Because I've there's been times. I like to dance. You're a good lead.
I've had moments where like somebody in the dance floor. It doesn't even have to be a sex move. It just could be a move in general because sometimes there's injuries that people have that you can't see. I know. And so sometimes they'll warn me like maybe right after I did the move, or if they're thoughtful and they can remember to tell me at the beginning, then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. And especially because I don't have like I feel I'm one of the people in the dance community who doesn't feel like I have to show off when I go out and dance. And so my moves are typically not very flashy. And if I have to take a move out, I really don't care. Right. Like I've danced with somebody who had an injured shoulder, and we danced with only one arm. Yeah. Like, it's completely doable.
Totally doable.
Because it's still fun.
And it shows that you're a good leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're a thoughtful, good leader because you're taking into account her physicality, limitations, and you can still have fun.
Yeah, you can totally have fun. Like if someone's like, "Oh, I can't bend, I can't do rules," like that's perfectly fine. Well, we can do more freestyling, or we can do more like arm things. Or...
Because it's all about the jam.
Yeah.
It's not about all the fancy stuff. It's about how the dance feels, and unfortunately we're not at that place anymore. I'd love to be back there because I'll be going out more then.
Yeah.
Besides being a busy lady, I miss those days. I miss that. But yeah, women need to start speaking up. Men need to start speaking up when the girls are getting crazy. Backleading the crud out of everyone.
Yeah.
Like you can't be like rude.
Yeah. Like.
But.
Yeah. with like backleading, I sometimes I kindly like maybe use a little more. Force, but not like to. It's funny. It's the opposite though, because like I don't want them to perceive like, oh, I'm just forcing a move through because he's trying to backlead it. No,
I'm not force. I'm different intention.
I would say maybe I use more structure in my frame.
Okay, there you go. I think that's a better way to say it. I was incorrect there.
Either slow down. Most of the time, it's slowing down because a lot of times when I have a backlead, it's typically because they're moving too quickly, or and so they're gonna put themselves in a position where I'm not prepared to catch them, and so. A lot of times I'll have to slow that movement down, and I do it slowly. Like I won't just like stop unless it's like their face is about to meet the floor. Then I'll be like, grab.
I want to catch them. Yeah. But I think that touches on the point of dancing to people's levels.
Yes.
Now that is another subject.
Yeah.
Because performances don't get me started.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be a whole nother.
There's so many people inside I have to bring back for things.
Crumbs.
Yeah, because that'll...
Dancing at people's level. So, when one of my biggest pet peeves, I can't, it literally drives me up a wall, is when you have an intermediate dancer coming into a beginner class because they're like, oh, I'm going to kill the time, I'm going to do the class, and then they go take this beginner dancer and they start doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and the poor person's like, I don't know what's going on, but this is fun. They don't do that voice. That sounds terrible. That's what I think in my head, I guess. But that, again, is creating this culture of women, followers being ragdolls and just being tossed around. And I hate that. Now, I'm gonna segue for a second here over to Performance Land because
this is important.
This is really important. Competitions. Let's go there. Performances, fun. I'm all about it. Yes. We love putting on a good show. Now, the thing is that you have to choreograph high competitions to your dancer's abilities.
Yes.
And why, this is another pet peeve of mine, why in the world do we push the music so fast because we're like, ooh, we want to be so fancy and we're going to make it so fast that the poor performers cannot keep up because they physically don't have the strength, they don't have the technique, they don't have the stamina, they don't know the choreography. That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
They don't know what they're doing, so that when it's time to perform, it's time to compete, it's time to do the number, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
And point your feet. That's another subject. Another one. But yeah, so I feel bad for some of these kids.
Yes.
And I advise, and I've been brought in to do some judging for competitions because I have a dance background. Like, it's a bigger, deeper dance background than just social dancing.
That judging is more.
It's not just because I'm judgy. I'm not. No. Judgy for the right reasons.
We're
but
talking about
I've
judging.
Been,
this is the part.
Here I am. This is the real me. I've been brought in to help out with these competitions. At the end of them, what I really love is sometimes we're asked to talk to the teams afterwards and give them notes live because no one can read my writing. I'm sorry.
I've never actually seen your writing.
Oh, it's super swoopy. Like, I add an extra T's and I's and E's for no reason. It kind of matches my personality.
That's great.
So it doesn't make any sense. It's chicken scratch too. And I write in cursive and it's really bad.
Oh, even worse.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I digress there. But yeah, so we're asked sometimes to give live notes afterward, and I don't know why no one has asked me up on this, but I've always offered, and I'm like, hey, like, I will stop judging, not like being judgy, but like I won't judge competitions if you guys ask me to come in to do some coaching or some cleaning or things like that. And I think that it is always good to get a fresh set of eyes in on your performance team, on your competition team, anybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone that dances something. But anybody, getting them in for a fresh set of eyes to give different perspective, because I think that we wouldn't have as many awkward moments as we would if we respected the art form enough to get a second opinion. Like a doctor. Wow, we're doing a lot of doctor things.
I know, right? Well, I mean, that's a good analogy.
It is. You want a second opinion, right? And you want to bring in people that have and honestly, like, bring in people that have different dance backgrounds.
Yeah, because they have different talents, and even two dances in the same genre will maybe focus on two different things.
Absolutely, but they'll notice something else that maybe you haven't seen. And when you're so close to it, when you've been coaching it and you've created the choreography and you're doing it, you get blind by it.
Yeah, that's
because you get blinded by, like, the things that you meant to correct, but then you didn't because you've said it 10,000 times, you're never going to fix it. Yeah. And sometimes having someone come in and be like, yo, that's very noticeable, it's wrong. Yeah. It hurts. Yeah. It hurts on this end, on the performer end, right? But it's there to help us grow. We are so soft in our community. Yeah. Like I talked about the cane and ballet, we are not used to the hard work. Or there's very few. I'm not going to say that none of the companies or none of the performance teams or none of the competition teams do this, but a lot of them don't have the training or the know-how to train properly. Yeah. And like, because I've had a different background in lots of different dance styles, taking the piece and breaking it up, 8 count by 8 count until you guys are about to murder us. Literally, if we do this 8 count one more time.
I mean, I needed
but it wasn't perfect.
Yeah, we spent like half practice just practicing a turn.
Oh yeah, because it needed to happen. Because if we don't do that, you don't create the muscle memory, you don't create the physicality of it, the strength to repeat it. Yes. Right?
We spent half a meeting just doing that when we were on a team together, but so even then, like, we started the practice with that movement that we spent like half a minute just so
and
we
training,
wouldn't lose
it. In dance classes, why in salsa we don't literally just do the basic for 15 minutes straight is beyond me. Like, why aren't we just covering the bases of it at the beginning, like in ballet? You think I've done a plie in my life? How about like 10,000 million of them, right? But it's the core basis of the dance form.
It's just the same thing with everything in life. Everyone's so impatient. Everyone just wants to look good and get to the point where, like, this is where, like, we're happy we can just go out and have fun.
Right.
But
you have to do the warm up. You have to do, like, before you go Olympic lifting. Yeah. You don't just go into it and just do it.
Just fucking pick up 400 pounds.
You dropped the F-bomb for me. Hey! One Nick, zero me.
I sneaked one in earlier. I don't think you heard it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Aww,
so this is technically
Nick,
F number 2.
But yeah, if we're not taking the time to spend, let's say you have an hour and a half practice, right? Yeah. I think an hour and a half is pretty normal for practice, right?
Yeah, give or take.
If you are not spending 30 to 45 minutes of that just working technique, learning how to turn on your own without assistance, turn patterns across the floor, if you're doing lifts, actually like practicing just lifting a person before learning how to do a lift, like just going through and doing the drills and all the basic stuff before you hop into your rehearsal, it's only going to make you get stronger. Yeah. right?
Yeah.
But and then now this is a huge circle because we're coming right back to this.
Yeah.
But having music that's appropriate, there's times when I've judged. Sorry, I have a hot hair in my eyeball.
Thanks.
Bangs. There's never been a time that I've judged that I've not made a note. That was a lot of weird negatives there. I'm sorry. There's almost every single time that I judge that I have to write in the notes, I wish that the music were taken down 2 decimals or whatever the words are. I'm not a DJ. I'm married to one. He does it. BPMs, thanks.
Yeah.
I listen.
Beats per minute.
Just not like really.
Just
That's not
slow
my
down
forte.
a
But I write on my paper, which no one can read. I wish that
That's
it
why
was,
they're not listening.
That's there we go. They can't hear anyway. But I wish that they had turned it down a couple of beats per minute because it would have saved the entire piece.
Yeah.
If you're not making the music appropriate for your level of dancer, it just looks like a hot mess.
Yeah.
Where it could have looked clean, tight, finished. The accents would have been hit on the right beats.
Yeah.
What? And if they had just not pushed it to the extreme, if they hadn't pushed it to the extreme because they're like, ooh, we're gonna make it 57,000 times faster than we normally do it.
Just because everyone wants the big, fast, multiple
Hey.
60 turns in a second.
I want to see the day where it's a moderately paced song, but every single foot is in the same place on the same count. Hairography is counted in, and when they're doing their turns, you see their buns hitting 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, 5, 6, 7, because we don't turn on 1, 2, 3. Where everyone's arms are at the same levels, where everyone hits at the same time on the right hit.
Yeah.
That day, whoever that group is will get my standing ovation. Because even if it's a little, not tons of it, and it needs to be challenging, that's the point.
Yeah.
If it was just a little bit simpler, but a little bit slower, but 1,000% clean, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Amen to that. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
I think just through the progression of just dance in general with like just what, again, everyone's just so caught up in what looks nice versus what actually can be performed well and led properly, even choreographed properly for the performers and competition people. But yeah.
Like, Peter and I, we always, for our teams, like, and this is where I think people think that we don't know how to dance.
Mm-hmm.
We never pushed you guys to do things that were past your capabilities.
Yes.
I would rather you have done it properly, cleanly, and on time, and together as a group, versus making you do things that your bodies weren't ready for.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting because we had a mixture of levels.
Yes.
So we were able to push some, and some we were not able to push, so we had to find that happy medium where it was a fun piece. Talk about fusion, we're crazy. Whee! But we had a mixture. We created these fusions that were fun, but the whole point wasn't to show off.
No.
It was to create something that was entertaining.
Yeah.
That was our goal. So I think there's also this thing where people think that I don't know how to dance because I don't choreograph hard because I would rather it be enjoyable for my performers because you guys are paying us to have a good time.
Yeah.
High studio fees. There's a lot of things that go into those dance teams, okay? But it's for you guys to have a good time, for you to learn something. But we also don't want to put you in a position where we're reaming you after a performance because you didn't do it right. But that would be my fault.
Yeah.
If I pushed you to beyond what you're able to do, and then I get upset after because it didn't go right. But
I know that topic's been brought up before about like that's difficult on like what some of these performers or performance teams or some competition teams who are out and about are just pushing their students, their team members too far beyond what they're clearly capable of doing. And I mean that's something you were pretty vocal about it when we were on the team. Like you guys would. I remember one time we were like kind of being like lazy and half-assing a practice because we've done that,
Once?
of course. We've come to tell me to get off my phone. Anyways. Yes, but you, there were moments where you would stop and be like, "Hey, you were doing this because you know we're capable, but stop being lazy." And you would directly tell us.
Oh, so many F-bombs. So
Yes.
many F-bombs,
Yes.
yelling in tears.
Yes.
Like, dance teachers are passionate for
Yeah.
a reason. It's because we're hard on you.
Yeah.
Because you are capable of it, and it
Yeah.
frustrates the living heck out of us when you guys are being lazy
Yeah.
and not doing it. Now that's different.
Yeah,
That's
that's
different
different.
from pushing people past and making them do physical stuff that they're just not able
yeah.
to do, right?
Yeah.
Or there's the ones that you know can do it, they've done it before, and then your coach, me, is a total a-hole because you guys are being lazy ass because, wow, I'm being so good.
I know, I'm surprised.
Wow.
I'm waiting.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
I was
get
waiting for the bleep.
I'm waiting for you to say it by the end.
I know, right? Somewhere I'll slip it in. Hey. But here I am. This is who I am, you guys. If you wanted to know what I'm like in real life, this is me.
This is a small taste only.
I'm a little crazy in this. No. But yeah, like, we're hard on you, and I love seeing when teachers post videos of them, like, digging in so hard on their people, because we do this for fun, yeah, but we're teachers because we want to create better dancers for the next generation. That's
Yes.
I'm hoping that it's not just for the money,
Yeah.
because trust me, it ain't worth the money.
It ain't worth the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do it because we're passionate about sharing the knowledge and information that we have gained over time into these next generations of people that are passionate to join in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's why we're instructors. That's why Peter and I are still teaching after all these years. Yes,
Yeah.
we're still here, y'all.
Yes, for those of you who don't know.
Still here.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're still here. But we're doing it, but that's why we're focused on the college community.
Yeah.
It's because we're passionate. We're still passionate about our community. We're still passionate about our culture. We're still passionate about the whole, the worldwide salsa community. And we do it, we definitely don't do it for the money. We both have full-time jobs.
Yes.
We have a business of our own. We're never not working, but we always make time to go out into the colleges, from San Diego all the way up to SLO. Sometimes we go up to San Francisco whenever we can, if we're not working.
Yeah. We're working a lot.
But that's our passion. Our passion
Yeah.
project is giving this new generation a good, sound basis to take their first steps into it.
Yes, and I'm really glad. And again, I wish there were more teachers like you too. You guys are really wonderful.
Thank
I'm really
you.
glad.
Aw.
But yeah, honestly, we can go on forever.
I know, forever. There's so many side subjects.
I was just like, again, you and Peter both. I just need to bring you both in here and have like a long.
Oh my gosh, should we do a Nick sandwich? Yes.
Oh god, the Nick sandwich.
Yes.
For those of you who know what that means, cool.
Oh, y'all went there, yeah.
Yeah,
I want Nick right between me and Peter as Peter and I argue, and poor Nick is like,
no.
No, I'm just joking. We don't do
But,
that.
but yeah, so I'll definitely have to bring you guys back, and I don't want to go too much longer. We've had a lot to say, and we have way more to say still. But yes, I'll definitely have you two back.
Of course.
I love talking to you. Guys.
Happy to.
I know it won't take me so long this time.
I know, right? Rude.
You're busy people. You still make time. I should learn that. But yes, thank you so much for talking to me.
You were so welcome.
I hope everyone here has been enjoying this conversation. And as I wrap it up, obviously, like I mentioned before, I do like to ask every guest to ask the audience a question, any question that you would like the community either to think to themselves or just to reach out to us and answer back to us that would be good to know about.
So I've been thinking about this the entire time because I got a lot of judgment. Okay, so if I had a question to ask to my community, I don't know how to word it, but I think it's, if you could learn another style of dance besides Latin social dance, besides Zouk, besides Kizomba, besides, any of those dances, because those aren't, anyway, that's a whole other subject. within the social scene.
The four, besides the four.
What other style of dance would you want to learn, and what other style of dance do you think is going to help you become a better dancer?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. 'Cause we talked about that.
A little bit.
A little bit.
But
Yeah.
I think that's a good question because I want to know, like, what do you think? Do you think it's ballet? Do you think it's is it hip hop?
Yeah.
Hey, throw that
Cool.
breakdancing move in,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah. But I'd love to hear. And
Yes, I would also love to hear that too. So please reach out to us about that. I'll probably make this a dumb post, but yes, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for the wonderful conversation.
Oh, thank you.
Please make sure to reach out to me and to you. I don't know where you want to share where they can find you, because obviously you have your own events, Ariza events.
So Peter and I are still working through the colleges. We are always open to doing workshops still. Any dance. We're not zookers, sorry.
Mostly,
It's
but
not my thing. You know what it is? Let's be real.
Yeah.
I don't have the hair.
you
I
like the
feel
shorter
like,
hair. It's cool.
oh, and that's when I had my mohawk too, really, when it started like being like the
Ooh,
thing
yeah.
here, right? I just feel like I don't have the hair for it.
Oh, goodness.
I'm just joking.
It's fine. But yeah, so if you need to reach out to
reach out to us. You can find me on Instagram at JennyMee, JennyMee.
Double E's.
Two E's, not one. Jenny Me. And I am not on Facebook as much anymore, so if anyone is messaging me, I'm really sorry.
That's good to actually
I think I deleted my Messenger app, so I can only imagine how many messages are on there, so I'm really sorry. It wasn't me being snobby or a bitch that most people think that I am. It's the face. Yeah. But yeah, you can reach out. Instagram is probably my best. We're still open to doing workshops. We still work with the colleges. We're teaching in Pomona tonight. Yeah. This is going to be posted way later than that.
Way later.
Pomona, hey, we're coming for you. But yeah, reach out. We're open for private lessons. That's my actual last name. It is not my last name. Ooh,
that's
getting tidbits. Ooh. But yeah, so Ariza Events is our company, and we do weddings, quinces, DJing, lighting, coordinating, anything. So that's been our big project lately. But hit me up if you have any questions. I love talking to people. I love being part of my community. Followers, leaders, if you have questions, feel free to hit me up, and I'm happy to answer them for you.
Yay. And so, yes, hopefully you'll reach out to her, and hopefully you reach out to just this, and I hope you got a lot of value out of this. And yes, thank you. And you'll see us on the dance floor. Bye-bye.